issues that concern accountability. When President Weah put forth himself to be president of Liberia, one of the commitments he made was that holding people accountable for their stewardship would be a critical hallmark of his administration. The president did not initiate any special audit. The president sought to respect the existing institutions, the GSC, the LCC, and the rest of them. Now don't forget, the leadership structure of these institutions are the same as they were under the former government. But if you look at their output, it's different. And that's where I believe the question of leadership comes in. So they now have a leader who is giving them the space, the opportunity to do their work independent of any influence, not even from the office of the president. And I believe in the two cases on hand, they've done a great job. And on account of what the LACC discovered, and I want to re-emphasize the fact that all the commissioners at the LACC were appointed just about the time the former president was leaving office. So those are his appointees, not President Weah's appointees. But they didn't care as to who appointed them. They just wanted to do a job based on professionalism, nationalism, and patriotism, disregarding relationships and partisanship. And as a result of their work, the funding of their work, charges were brought forward against some of our friends and citizens. When charges are brought against you, such matter will be settled in the court of law. And I think what anybody who cares about Liberia would have done, perhaps, would be to embrace what has happened, call for speedy, fair, and transparent process in court, because that's what we all want. But to denounce an action based on funding for an investigation conducted by people you appointed, classify it as a witch hunt, and committing to resist it sends a terrible message that should not be coming from our former president. Some of the comments we heard from him leading us to ask several questions. Why is he defending people who have just been charged, not guilty of anything, still got court processes ahead of them? Someone will ask, why is he defending them? Wouldn't it be the best thing to allow the process to unfold? When President Weah came to power, there were over 60 audit reports left behind. He had an opportunity for his legal people to take those reports and determine whether there were basis for the prosecution of anyone. Because, of course, part of what happened during the last 12 years of President Selly was out of political inclination that the government was excessively corrupt. And the quote-unquote excessively corrupt government was out of office. The new sheriff was in town. That sheriff did nothing. And when the new government than trying to, based on reports coming from people he appointed, take the actions that are necessary to come fighting and vying to resist. We want to inform the former president that the government is neither deterred nor concerned at all about your empty threats. We will do what is required consistent with the law. If your people go to court and prosecutors are unable to establish a case that leads to their conviction, then that's the law. And in that case, the law will be the law. If they are convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction, they will count for their deeds. And I believe, speaking on behalf of the government, that this is something we're supposed to embrace. And you want to talk about wish homes? Let me remind you about a few things, since you want to discuss wish home. You know, the way you come in defense of these individuals who they charge shows that what you presided over as president was a scheme, a very grand scheme for that matter, that saw the industrialized looting of our country. There is no secret. Let me ask you a few questions. Since you are now an opponent of quote-unquote wish homes, an ordinary citizen, Precious Bole, working at the Ministry of Gender, just in the quest to exercise free speech, your Facebook comment, it was attacked by two of your officials, Carol Gray and somebody else. And they promised her that her days in government were numbered. Eventually, their threat was executed. The whole young lady, competent, very qualified, was kicked out of government because of her political views. Nobody cried behind you about wish homes. Nobody your vote. You deliver your annual message. Unrelated, the person said, I'm going to deliver my annual message. He was kicked out of maritime just because of that Facebook post. Patrick Honor left LBS, was not a private citizen, met all the requirements to run a radio station. Intentionally took the decision that on your watch, he will not run a radio station. And even after the young man used his qualification and competence to seek a job at Firestone, it was public information that he was demanding Firestone to dismiss him. Because he wanted to see him suffer and die. Thank God Firestone, as an American company, stood up to you. They didn't agree. Amos Tuet was left at the LPRC when the government left power. He was kicked out because of his connection to the UP. Patrick O'Connor, who didn't see him at LPS as a consultant, chased away because he was said to be supporting Waka. I know my good friend Agustin Gafran, when he left government, he established a consultancy firm here. He competed for and won the bid to provide some services to government. But the way the international system works, if the service you provide is on communication, you do it at the Ministry of Information. If it's on finance and economy, you do it to our Ministry of Finance. And even after the man's entity won the bid, you guys said you could not work with him. his winning of the bid was reversed.